Fish is making its comeback, once again, from a chill fishing game to a pay-to-win grind, and now it's rising like never before. Fish is a game with a wild history. One moment it's a chill, relaxing fishing simulator, the next it's a monetized grind that pushes players away, and now it's making a comeback you won't believe. Before we jump into the comeback of Fish, let's have a look at the reason for its downfall. Fish, at its core, started as a calm, comforting RNG-based fishing game. You traveled between areas, completed bestiaries, and played at your own pace. It was simple, chill, and accessible for completionists, casual players, or anyone who just wanted a relaxing game. There weren't hours of mindless grinding, no obnoxious microtransactions, and you didn't need game passes to succeed. It was a good experience for basically anyone. But then things changed. Early on, Fish caught the attention of a major game studio, and it got acquired. Nate, the original owner, could no longer handle the game alone, and Big Studios stepped in. On the surface, they promised Fish would stay pay-to-win free. Sounds good, right? But anyone who followed the game closely knew something was off. There were hidden pay-to-win stuff being implemented in the game, and yeah, it got way worse than anyone expected. Big, known for their aggressive monetization in other games, applied the same tactics to Fish. Early on, they introduced purchasable luck boosts, then expanded them to server-wide boosts that could be stacked. The point wasn't to enhance gameplay, but to manipulate player behavior into spending real money. Then came limited items and special cosmetics. Rare items, rods, and boats were sold for Robux with controlled availability, creating artificial scarcity. Some items were restocked or adjusted later, which frustrated early buyers and killed the sense of exclusivity. This was a general trend across the game. Features that were supposed to feel rewarding became straight-up tools for monetization. The biggest problem, though, was how core gameplay started being tied to these mechanics. Luck boosts, rare items, and the secret fishes, mainly the Moby whale, Scylla, and the Leviathans, became necessary for meaningful progress. To access some of the more exciting features like the Calm Zone, players had to grind near-impossible chances or rely on paid boosts. Secret fishes weren't just rare, they were artificially inflated to push players toward spending. This shifted the game from relaxing and rewarding to stressful and grind-heavy. Meanwhile, the game's aesthetics started changing drastically. Early rods matched the environment and were visually pleasing. After Big's involvement, rods and items became flashy, over-the-top, and disconnected from the original chill vibe. Subtle charm gave way to excessive spectacle, which clashed with the calm, casual experience players loved. Even free-to-play players suffered. Loot boxes, event rewards, and some mechanics all favored paying users. Free players had extremely low odds of acquiring rare fishes, while Robux users could bypass most obstacles. Sales and limited items were manipulated in ways that encouraged spending, further widening the gap between paying and free players. All of this led to the start of Fish's decline. A game that was once simple, relaxing, and rewarding became stressful, confusing, and focused on monetization. Players who enjoyed the chill grind felt lost in a sea of pay-to-win mechanics, complicated luck systems, and forced competition. The community shrank as creators left, fans stopped watching, and even casual players gave up. By the end, Fish's core experience was unrecognizable. What began as a relaxing fishing simulator had turned into a monetized grind full of unnecessary complexity and forced competition. Players who had spent months enjoying the game watched helplessly as Big's changes pushed it into chaos, frustration, and a steep decline in users. Alright, so Fish is doing something wild right now. C2? Yeah, it's officially gone, and honestly, I'm not even mad. C2 was a disaster. I always had this feeling it was going to hurt the game, and for a while, well, it kinda did. Let's rewind again. Fish started as this small fishing game I stumbled upon. Funny enough, my YouTube journey actually began with Fish. I remember making those early videos, just showing people the fun of catching big fish, testing rods, and messing with the mechanics. Back then, it was chill, simple, satisfying, and genuinely fun. You didn't need to spend Robux to enjoy it, and people stuck around because it felt rewarding. Then Big Studios came along. At first, their updates weren't bad. They added new rods, some cool cosmetics, and the game kept growing. But soon, things went downhill. Do Big started stacking pay-to-win mechanics, pumping out more cosmetics, and each update got worse than the last. The game peaked at around 1 million players. That was huge. Fisch was massive, but it didn't last. Slowly, the player base dropped. Then C2 happened, and that's when things really tanked. People hated it. It was confusing, grindy, and just not what Fisch was about. And the numbers? They fell from 1 million players to just 10,000. Brutal. So fast forward to now, Nate officially owns Fisch again. And this time, it feels different. There's a real sense that Fisch is getting a second chance. Nate removed C2, which is a huge relief. And this wasn't just about deleting content, it's about bringing the game back to what made it fun. Balance, chill fishing, and long-term goals that actually make sense. With C2 gone, Nate has been rolling out some interesting updates. The new Cursed Isles area lets you catch old C2 fishing rods. It's clever. They didn't just erase the content, they recycled it in a way that actually works. Honestly, that's the kind of direction Fisch needed. Then there's the rod mastery system, which is huge. Every rod now has passive quests that give buffs when completed. Travel 50k studs to get plus 30% lure speed, or use 3 Aurora totems to boost Aurora rate. Even meme rods like the Tryhard rod now have goals. Catch 500 fish with it to get plus 25% progress and plus 20% lure speed. It's satisfying. Casual players have a reason to keep playing, and hardcore players have real goals to grind toward. And the monetization change is wild, but in a good way. You can now watch ads for luck boosts instead of buying them with Robux. Honestly, I'm okay with that. I'd rather give Fisch watch time than keep spending money. It's a smart move that keeps things fair while still supporting the devs. The community, which honestly looked dead during the C2 era, is waking up again. Big Fish YouTubers who stopped posting are coming back. Players are hyped over rods, speedrunning mastery quests, and sharing insane catches. Fisch went from 10k to 65k players online during recent events. It even peaked over 230k concurrent players in the recent update event. That's not just doing better, that's a real revival. And I have a feeling it's only going to keep growing if they keep this momentum. Speaking of insane catches, even the Tryhard rod, which used to be a joke, now has serious buffs if you perfect catch enough fish. I love this direction. It rewards effort and makes even older rods worth using. The game is chaotic in the best way. The live events are insane. Meteors, cataclysmic fish spawning globally, players flying through the air with admin powers. It's a mess, but a fun one. Some of the old developer rods, like the guitar rod, are actually obtainable now, which is a crazy flex. And it's not just about flexing, it's about giving players cool goals and memories tied to the game's history. Oh, and speaking of history, I had this old trick back in the Apex Fish days with the clever enchant. You could farm like 50 levels per catch, and that's how I got the astral hook, which is now unobtainable. So yeah, I basically own a piece of Fish history now. That kind of legacy is important, especially with Nate trying to restore the game's reputation. Beyond the Cursed Isles and Rod Mastery, there are smaller updates that make the game more engaging. Aquariums, for example. You can put your biggest fish in them and earn passive money. It's simple but effective. Over time, that adds up. You can buy more slots and pour in more fish, which rewards long-term players who keep coming back. Then there's the rod-specific stuff. Atomic nukes, rare hunt totems, new skins like Dark Destiny, and developer rods like the Re-Rod with insane stats. These aren't just flex items, they're actual goals. They give players a reason to log in, grind, and enjoy the fishing mechanics without feeling forced to spend Robux. Even smaller rods, like the flimsy rod, now have masteries, so casual players can flex golden rods too. The pacing of these updates is perfect. Fisch isn't rushing players, it's rewarding consistency. Both casual and hardcore players have things to chase, and old mistakes, like C2, are being cleaned up. The level cap reset to 1,000, for example, balanced the game and removed absurd power gaps. Players who speedran to level 2,500 during C2 got reset, making the game fairer and more competitive again. Honestly, this is the kind of comeback you don't see often. Fisch is going from near death to thriving in just weeks. Seeing the community come alive again is amazing. Players are sharing tips, showing off rare catches and actually getting excited about rods like the try-hard rod or new mastery skins. That's the momentum Nate needed to build on. If Fisch keeps this up, it could blow up on YouTube again. Comeback stories hit hard, and Fisch has the perfect mix of nostalgia, casual fun, and competitive goals. Seasonal events with exclusive Fisch could keep casual players logging in, while mastery quests continue to reward the grind. The game already nails the chill fishing vibe. It just needs consistent long-term goals. There's also this new merchant area near Moosewood, and it's actually a game changer for beginners. The merchant sells totems and enchant relics at a much cheaper price than usual, which makes it way easier for new players to get started without spending a ton of Robux. Not only does it help beginners progress faster, but it also lets them experiment with different enchants and totems without feeling like they're wasting resources. Honestly, it's a small addition, but it makes the early game much more approachable and enjoyable. For me, I'm hyped. I'm diving back into mastery quests, exploring the cursed isles, and testing new rods. I might even start uploading Fisch videos daily if this keeps up. Being part of this comeback from the start is exciting. Fisch fell hard. C2 almost killed it. But removing it, adding new content, and focusing on long-term progression might just save the game entirely. This update gave Fisch the fresh start it desperately needed. And if Nate plays his cards right, this could mark one of the biggest Roblox game revivals we've ever seen. And make sure to let me know down in the comments if you want to watch more videos on Fisch. Thanks for watching.